Okay, hello there, compliment. Hello there, and compliment of this season to you. We're glad to have you tuned in at this hour on African News 24 television for news and reports of events happening from around the world. I'm Timothy Crown, Aderibibe. At this hour, we begin with security as the federal government has been talking about the approval given by President Bola Tinubu for the United States strikes against terrorists in the northwestern region of the country. This is according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugar, who is talking about the cooperation between Nigeria and the United States. Tugar said that the United States is cooperating and that the operation is a joint effort, promising that going by the president's insistence and order before he gave the go-ahead, the operation is not targeting any religion, nor simply in the name of one religion or the other. According to the minister, we are in a multi-religious country and we are working with partners like the United States to fight terrorism and safeguard the lives and properties of Nigerians. While some describe the strikes as a violation of the country's territorial integrity, Tuga insists that the federal government would not take any action that would violate the country's sovereignty. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Armed Forces has been giving details about its collaboration with the United States in the precision strike operations against foreign ISIS-linked fighters operating in parts of the northwest of the country. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Samaila Uba, in a statement he released today, hinted that the operation was executed with the approval of appropriate authorities and formed part of sustained effort to rid the country of terrorists and other criminals threatening national security. Uba stated that the strikes followed credible intelligence and careful operational planning aimed at degrading the operational capabilities of a terrorist while minimizing collateral damage. He added that the operation was based on actionable intelligence and meticulous planning. The defense spokesman noted that the operation underscored the resolve of the federal government working with strategic partners to confront terrorism and prevent foreign fighters from establishing or expanding footholds in Nigeria. And talking about the airstrikes, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been talking about the Nigeria's airstrikes targeted at the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, ISIS terrorists in Sokoto State. The United States President, in a post on Truth Social, described the strike as powerful and deadly. According to Trump, quote, "At my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorists in northwest Nigeria who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper." End of quote. Trump warns of many such strikes on terrorists should attacks on Christians continue in the country. However, Islamic scholar Ahmed Gumi has said that foreign military intervention, including US airstrikes, will not end terrorism in Nigeria, warning that the use of bombs alone cannot resolve the country's security challenges. Gumi made the assertion while reacting to reports of ongoing foreign military actions against terrorist groups operating in parts of the country. According to him, terrorism is rooted in deeper social, political, and economic problems that cannot be solved through airstrikes or heavy bombardment. The cleric argued that while military force may weaken insurgent groups temporarily, it often leads to civilian casualties and destruction of communities, which in turn fuels anger and radicalization. Gumi stressed the need for dialogue, justice, and inclusive governance, noting that many young people are driven into terrorism due to poverty, marginalization, and perceived injustice. He called on the Nigerian government to prioritize intelligence-driven operations, community engagement, and socio-economic development, particularly in conflict-prone areas, instead of relying solely on military might. Gumi also urged authorities to address alleged human rights abuses and ensure fairness in the handling of security operations, warning that failure to do so could prolong insecurity. Still in security, there have been reports of panic in residents of Ofa in KWARA State following explosions at two locations within the town. Eyewitness reports that the explosions that happened around midnight destroyed several properties and caused chaos. The first of the two incidents was reported to have happened near the Eid praying ground area and later close to Solid Worth Hotel, just hours after United States airstrikes on ISIS target in northwest Nigeria. Authorities say the exact source or cause and nature of the blast in Ofa are yet to be confirmed. The chief press secretary to the executive chairman of our local government, Abiola Babatunde, said the affected areas are being cordoned off by security agencies to allow for a thorough investigation. And following these attacks, beginning with the Christmas Eve terrorist attack on the Maiduguri Mosque, BORNO State, the authorities have scaled up security across the country with massive deployments of operatives in worship centers and urban hubs. No fewer than 16,738 tactical squads were deployed in Borno, Kogi, Edo, Bauchi, Plateau, Kano, Abia, and other states. President Bola TINUBU had directed the authorities to deploy additional tactical teams to Borno and other states following the terrorist attack in a Maiduguri mosque in which 4 people were killed. In a statement by a senior special assistant on media and communication to the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, the President had ordered the immediate intensification of security operations in Borno State following Wednesday's attack. A suicide bomber had detonated an explosive device at the Al-Adum Mosque in Gambaru Market, Maiduguri, around 6 p.m. on Wednesday when worshippers had gathered for prayers, injuring several persons. The mosque, located near the customs district, is a popular place of worship frequented by traders and sellers who patronize the bustling market daily. The president vowed that the perpetrators of the bomb explosion will face the full weight of the law. He affirmed that additional tactical teams have been deployed to track down those responsible for the attack. And back home in Lagos, a new cultural landmark has risen in the heart of Lagos as Governor Babajide Sanwo-OLU commissioned the monument at the John Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History in the Onikon area of the state. The monument, according to the governor, reinforces the state's commitment to preserving its rich heritage. Our next report captures the event more. Welcome to Business. The Chartered Institute of Taxation in Nigeria has warned that alleged discrepancies between tax laws passed by the National Assembly and the versions later gazetted could pose serious risks to governance and legal certainty. President of the Institute, Innocent Ogwa, in a statement he personally signed, said concerns have been raised that some provisions of the newly enacted tax reform laws signed by President Bola TINUBU and due to take effect on January the 1st, 2026 may have been altered after legislative passage. The allegations raised by lawmakers, including Abdulsamad Dasuki, have prompted the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, to set up an investigative committee chaired by Mukhtar Betara. CITN called for immediate verification of the laws and corrective action to safeguard legislative integrity and public confidence. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has announced plans to re-gazette the recently amended tax laws amid claims that the documents were altered after being passed by lawmakers. The House of Representatives spokesperson who made the promise said the effort is to address public concerns and ensure transparency in the legislative process. According to him, the leadership of the National Assembly has directed relevant committees and legal departments to review the affected laws and re-gazette them to reflect the exact versions approved by both chambers. He stressed that the move was not an admission of wrongdoing, but a proactive step to clear any doubt surrounding the integrity of the amendment and reaffirmed the legislature's commitment to due process. The spokesperson explained that gazetting the laws afresh would help eliminate confusion, restore public confidence, and prevent any legal dispute that could arise from the alleged alterations. The claims of post-passage alterations had sparked criticism from stakeholders, with some calling for a thorough investigation into the legislative process. And now to the Middle East, where tensions have escalated following fresh Israeli airstrikes on HEZBOLLAH targets in southern Lebanon. The Israeli military confirmed that the strikes were carried out in response to what it described as hostile activities originating from Lebanese territory. According to security forces, the operation targeted suspected HEZBOLLAH positions, including weapons storage facilities and operational infrastructure. In the aftermath of the attacks, security had been heightened along the Israel-Lebanon border, with increased troop deployment and surveillance amid fears of possible retaliation. Residents in nearby border communities on both sides have reported heightened military presence and intermittent explosions, raising concerns over a wider confrontation. Lebanese authorities have condemned the strikes, describing them as a violation of the country's sovereignty, while HEZBOLLAH has vowed to respond at a time and place of its choosing, further fueling uncertainty in the region. The latest development has sparked international concern, with calls from global powers and the United Nations urging restraint to prevent the situation from spiraling into a full-scale conflict. Both sides remain on high alert as diplomatic efforts intensify to de-escalate tensions and avert further violence. From Middle East to Europe, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced plans to meet with United States President Donald Trump in the near future as diplomatic efforts to end the war with Russia gain momentum. Zelensky said the planned meeting follows recent discussions between Ukraine and U.S. officials focused on advancing peace negotiations, adding that both sides believe significant decisions could be reached ahead of the talks. The development comes as Kyiv and Washington work on a 20-point peace proposal aimed at de-escalating the conflict and laying the groundwork for a possible settlement, which has reportedly been forwarded to Moscow for consideration. Despite renewed diplomatic engagement, Russia has maintained firm positions on key issues, particularly territorial control in eastern and southern Ukraine. Fighting has also continued on the battlefield, underscoring the challenges facing the peace process. The anticipated Zelensky-Trump meeting is seen as a crucial step in shaping the next phase of negotiations as international efforts intensify to bring an end to the nearly 4-year conflict. And back to Asia, as Japan has approved $782 billion budget for the fiscal year starting April 2026, driven by rising defense costs and growing social security spending. As inflation persists, the plan includes a historic 9 trillion yen for defense, as Prime Minister Sane Takachi accelerates Japan's military upgrade amid worsening relations with China. Defense Ministers Shinjiro Koizumi said the budget reflects the most severe security environment Japan has faced since World War II. Tokyo is moving away from its pacifist stance, aiming to double defense spending to 2% of GDP and develop counter-strike capabilities, including a new drone-based coastal defense system known as SHIELD, expected by 2028. The budget comes as tensions rise over Taiwan and as markets worry about Japan's growing public debt, already the highest among major economies at over 230% of GDP. While the government insists the spending is necessary to protect lives and boost growth, analysts warn that further increases could unsettle bond markets and weaken the yen. The budget still requires parliamentary approval. Nigeria and Tunisia will clash in a decisive Group C match of the 2025 African Cup of Nations this Saturday at the Complex Sportive de Fès, with both teams seeking to secure early qualification for the knockout stage. Both sides come into the encounter with 3 points from their previous and their opening games, as Nigeria began their campaign with a 2-1 win over Tanzania, while Tunisia sit top of the group on goal difference after a 3-1 victory against Uganda. The fixture is expected to play a key role in determining the group standings, as the winner will move closer to finishing first in the Group C, potentially earning more favorable draw in the next round. Nigeria, 3-time AFCON champions, are aiming to build momentum after a narrow opening win, while Tunisia are looking to maintain their strong start and extend their lead at the top of the group. Saturday's match is anticipated to attract a large crowd in Fès, reflecting the rivalry between the two sides and the importance of the encounter in the group's race. Still in Morocco, Real Madrid forward Kylian Mbappe has arrived in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of Friday's African Cup of Nations Group A clash between Morocco and Mali. The French newspaper L'Equipe reports that Mbappe traveled with his parents and younger brother Ethan during a short break from club duties. He's visiting at the invitation of his close friend and former Paris Saint-Germain teammate Achraf Hakimi, who is recovering from an ankle injury. Mbappe is expected to stay in Morocco until December the 29th, when Real Madrid resume training and may attend additional AFCON matches. Morocco currently tops Group A with 3 points after a 2-0 win over Comoros. in entertainment, renowned Nigerian singer Innocent Edebia, popularly known as Tubaba, has said there is no such thing as a whack artist in the music industry. The African Queen crooner made the statement in a recent video message where he explained that music is created to evoke emotions and set a particular mood, adding that acceptance largely depends on marketing and promotion rather than talent alone. According to Tubaba, every song is designed to create a feeling and connect with a specific audience, stressing that music taste differs from person to person. According to him, quote, every music is tailored to evoke an emotion, to create a spirit. There is nothing like a whack artist, end of quote. The veteran musician noted that some artists often tagged as whack end up being more commercially successful than those widely regarded as talented because they understand the business side of music. That is why many of the so-called whack artists are more bankable than the talented ones, because they understand that it is not the art itself, it is the marketing of the arts. Tubaba further emphasized that talent alone does not guarantee success, pointing out that no song can appeal to everyone. No matter how talented you are or how sweet your music is, there is no music that everyone likes. Everything is narrowed down to marketing, promotion, and the business. It is only those who resonate with your music that will like it, Tubaba said. His comment have since sparked conversations online about creativity, commercial success, and the evolving nature of the music industry. And it will be a wrap at this hour. Thank you so much for joining us and staying tuned to African News 24 Television. For more on these stories and more, please stay connected with us on all our social media platforms. And don't forget to visit our website at africannews24.ng for latest updates to stay informed and ahead. I'm Timothy Crown at Bye for now.